Cards.
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 Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards. Cards.
Okay. Let me take a chug of caffeine.
I thought we were never going to speed that thing up. I thought we were just going to be going cards for 45 minutes. Welcome to Crosstown Cardboard episode 67. It's the final episode of the year. We're calling it Hobby Awards 2023. We're going to be giving out our best awards for different categories. Craig and I have a few categories that overlap, a few that are different, and it's just going to be actually some of the worst also of 2023. So we're not going to hide from some mistakes, some things we learned from, but also, of course, celebrating some accomplishments, some card pickups, some card connections, card stories, card shows of 2023, because it is still the holiday season and we're still in celebratory mode. Pardon me for not introducing us. I'm Carmine at Carmine's Cards, the sports broadcaster down here in Greenville, South Carolina, by way of Westchester County, New York, specifically Ossining, New York. And then you have Craig on the other side of the screen. He's at New York City Sports Cards, the math teacher, the soccer coach, originally from Long Island, now in New York City, about to be in Miami, Florida, as you can tell by the floral pattern on his button-down shirt. He's ready to roll for his vacation from school. And that is what it feels like. Every single episode on Crosstown Cardboard is a vacation, because we enjoy putting this content out there, connecting with people, having a release, a little break, relaxing, not taking ourselves too seriously. But let's get down to business here, Craig. The Hobby Awards 2023. And please, how are you doing? And what's the first category that you want to break down of the best or the worst of 2023?
Let's just go right in order. We kind of came up with random categories. There's a million different ways you can go with this, right? You're not going to hear us talking about like best content creator or product of the year. So a little bit, we're going to keep it about the cards. Personally,
personal. This is like our personal hobby awards.
Yes, but hopefully nice and relatable to everyone as well. And every category is going to have a card either directly related to the category or indirectly. But let's just get into it.
Right. Let's do it. What do you got? All right.
My first award is the best out-of-town LCS.
Oh, lots to choose from.
Right? We talk a lot about in here when we travel. Going to a card shop, for me personally, is a big part of the agenda. I've already got a card shop on the agenda for when we go to Miami. So for this year, my favorite out-of-town LCS visit was East West Sports Cards in Naples, Florida.
Wow, I thought you really liked the Denver one. Okay.
I do like the Denver ones, but I had been there multiple times. I think East West Collectibles in Naples, it was kind of an accident how I stumbled upon it. I was on vacation with my wife in Marco Islands. It was just on our drive back to the airport. You got to understand, too, when I went to Denver, it was cold. In Florida, it was summertime. It was hot. So there's a different vibe already going into it. Right. But why do I like East West Sports Cards in Naples, Florida so much? You walk in, it is a nice big shop in a shopping center, very well lit, very spacious. You got your showcase cards, you got your memorabilia up there, you got your value box to sift through. And the people were super nice. I forgot one of the names of the guys that worked there, but he happens to be from Jersey. And I just remember walking in, and I think the ambiance, the space, the ability to move around, and them being so welcoming, good conversation just made for a great card shop visit. So that's East West Collectibles in Naples. And, of course, I've got a card to commemorate that experience there. And It was in a value bin. And the nice thing about going to card shops out of town is people don't really care about Walt Frazier in other towns.
Ugh, that's a crime.
Yeah, so I was able to pick up, this was in August, 2014-15 Panini Select Walt Frazier autograph die cut out of 25.
That's nice. And the gold, I really like the gold border too.
Yeah, that's cool. Good card, early year select. It is a sticker autograph, but regardless, cool card from a great shop. So shout out to East West Collectibles. If you're in the Florida, Naples area, I think you walk in, you just see it's nice and big and well organized. So that is my first award.
I love it. And I also really appreciate that you have something to commemorate that visit. not only to have the memory of you being in the store, but then you can look at that Walt Frazier card and say, oh yeah, that was a great store. That was a nice pickup. We had a fair, cool deal to share to take home coming out of that as well. All right, bro.
You're
My
up.
first hobby award 2023. A little background. Me and Craig kind of laid out different categories of what we thought might be cool things to talk about that anybody listening, for you guys, you might, enjoy and be able to maybe relate to and take to your own hobby journey as well. So we had 10 categories. We kind of whittled it down to 5 that we're going to each talk about. A few overlapped, a few are unique to us. So we're just going to keep rolling through it. But I wanted to start off with a banger. Favorite PC purchase of 2023. Now, for this one, I thought it had to be straight cash, Randy Moss. No trading, because trading, kind of gets a little bit different element into it. But this one was just straight cash. And the amount of cash, $2,800 to our buddy Mikey's Cards, one of the best flippers in the business. And gets cards into people's hands that they may not find elsewhere, which is exactly what happened with this card. Bird and Magic dual auto finalists, and it's from Exquisite. It has the Larry O'Brien trophy on there, both on-card autos, numbered out of 25, and just a beautiful card from my 2 favorite players and what I think is the best rivalry between 2 guys of all time, definitely in basketball, in a team sport. But you can't have Larry without Magic. You can't have Magic without Larry. Dominated the 80s, of course, and 2 guys who are in my PC, my 1 and 2, who I like to PC and collect. And I had never had a Bird and Magic dual auto and had always been chasing one. And when an Exquisite brand came up, I said, this is the chance. This is the best brand I can possibly get. The pre-Panini Flawless is what I kind of would consider Exquisite. When we were growing up, it was the most primo brand, the most expensive, the hardest to get. And so when this came up, even though it was right before the National, I said, am I going to spend all my money? And I know we talked about this on the podcast at the time, but it's been about 6 months now. I said, am I going to spend all my money before the National, or most of my money before the National, this big chunk of change, $2,800, almost $3,000. And I said, you know what? If I saw this card at the National, this would be one that I would be proud to come home with. So I ended up pulling the trigger, and I've been really happy ever since, because to me, it's one of, if not the nicest dual autograph of Magic and Bird that you can get, of just autographs. I mean, you could add in patches and logo man, of course, and get way up into the stratosphere. But this is my favorite PC purchase for the Hobby Award of 2023.
I like that it has the Larry O'Brien trophy on it too. That's a nice little touch.
Yeah, and it commemorates their final showdowns, that are legendary. So I thought that kind of separated it into another level of coolness for me too. Yeah.
Love that. It's definitely your kind of card right there. Perfect
Thanks,
for
bro.
you. So I have a different category, but we did say that was the one that we were going to overlap. So
Yeah.
for my hobby award, for my favorite PC purchase, I broke this up into New York Knicks and not New York Knicks.
Ooh, I like that.
And I could not pick one Knicks card. So by coincidence, 3 of my favorite Knicks pickups all came from 13-14 Flawless. So,
oh, yes.
So we'll call it a 3-way tie for
my gosh,
what a favorite Knicks
thumbnail.
pickups of the year. Now,
Wow.
coincidentally enough, the Patrick Ewing patch out of 25 also came from Mikey's Cards. The Charles Oakley letter R patch from Flawless out of 5, and the Larry Johnson dual patch on card autograph out of 15. These both came from National, about 3 hours apart. Now, I think these cards are my favorite Knicks PC pickups, because if I try to tell people what I collect, I just need to show them a picture of this, and it's like, oh, okay, understandable.
Yeah, that's great. I love that they're the same year, especially the Ewing and the Oakley being the same exact patch window, same set. And then the Larry Johnson, Mr. 4-point play with the dual patch window auto. That's great. Those are like art pieces for a Knicks fan. I mean,
Yeah.
they really are.
Like, I hate to be a snob, but if I'll go to a show and people will say, "What are you looking for?" And I'll say, "I'm looking for Knicks cards, like jerseys, autographs." They'll start showing me some like Quentin Grimes cards, maybe like a Kevin Knox jersey, and all I have to do is show them that picture and be like, I'm kind of looking for this stuff.
Yeah.
But I digress. My
Yeah.
favorite non-Knicks PC purchases of the year. Got to get a soccer card in there.
Okay.
Kylian Mbappe, 2018 Prism World Cup, the blue Prism out of 199. Again, got this from National. It's just a perfect card for me. It's significant because it's Prism World Cup. Mbappe won the World Cup that year, scored in the finals, won the Best Young Player award, and just the color match is incredible.
Yeah,
So
and the BGS 9.5 also.
Definitely my favorite soccer card I got this year. And then my other one, my favorite maybe card altogether, definitely favorite vintage card I got this year was the 1960 Hemmett's Journal Cassius Clay rookie card. I put card in quotes. I'm not going to get into that now. You'll have to listen to the old episode to understand. It was a cutout from a magazine in Sweden. But yeah, so these are my favorite two non-Knicks pickups of the year. The Cassius Clay I purchased on January 15th of last year. So I've held this for almost a whole year. The Mbappe I got at National, so that's a nice 6-month hold. It's fun when you've acquired these cards and you've held them for a long time, because the longer you hold on to them, the more attached you are to them.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. I feel like that. Yeah. In some cases, and then in some cases, like a previous Crosstown Cardboard episode, you fall out of love with a PC card the longer you've had it. So that's a great sign. And that means that you're purchasing exactly for what you want, or trading for exactly what you want, because your love for the card is only growing as time goes on.
Yeah.
And, and no shame if it diminished. Sure. What year is that Cassius Clay, by the way?
1960.
1960. Man, that's a cool card.
Yeah. I hope to have for many, many years. It's the kind of thing you can tell a story with it. You don't think the value should hold strong, you might think. And if it dips a little bit, I'll hold on.
Right.
Now, that was your category. I want to just briefly touch upon, because I was going to do a second one.
Yeah. Hold on though, because I wanted to just comment on, I think, our evolution from first year podcast to second year of the podcast. I think we went much more toward the PC realm than the flipping realm, even though, of course, we're still doing both to a certain degree, to fund the hobby, to make a little profit, to enjoy the business side of it. But also, I think in 2023, just as a little bit of a reflection, we both really dialed into our PCs and started picking up things for our personal collection much more often, like having our perspective geared toward picking up those type of cards. And I think you having 5 different cards for your favorite PC editions speaks to how much more oriented toward our PCs we've gotten in 2023, because I love that you couldn't, even when you broke it down into 2 different categories, Knicks and non-Knicks PC, that you still had 3 in one category and 2 in another. But that's just the true collector who loves cards right there.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into this more next episode, but it took a lot of transactions and flips. Let's just say for every 20 to 25 buys and sells and trades you make, you pick up 1 PC card. Another 20, 30 transactions go by, you pick up 1 PC card. But data analytics next episode.
Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to break that down.
I can't wait for that. Collectors, you said, but that's a good transition, because I do have a category, and it's my best flip and my worst flip of the year.
Okay, let's hear it.
Best flip was, without question, my 1962 Topps Babe Ruth, signed by Mrs. Babe Ruth.
Right.
Found it in the storage unit, graded it myself. It came back authentic, all in. I was into it for $123, and I sold it on Facebook and netted $1,039.46. I mean, we're talking almost a 9x profit.
Wow.
The numbers speak for themselves.
Wow.
So that was definitely my best flip of the year. Now, my worst flip, there's a little twist to it. Flip implies that you sold the card. I didn't actually sell the card yet. I still have it.
Oh,
so we're going to call this, we're going to call it worst flip in terms of like my worst, we'll say, investment. Bought it for X and now it's worth less than X.
Yeah.
I love Messi. I love game use stuff. And I'll be honest, I bought right into the hype when he was first started with the MLS. He's scoring goal after goal after goal. So I definitely overpaid for this. Traded and paid. But I still have the card and I love it. So I don't mind the loss in value. And it's a 2022 National Treasures Lionel Messi match worn jersey card out of 49.
Okay.
I am into this card for $520. It is maybe worth half of that now.
Ouch.
If I were to sell it, would it be a bad flip? Yes. But you know what? I still have it. I still love it. I own it. It's part of what I collect. So I'm okay with that. And I don't plan on selling it. So it's not really a loss because I still enjoy the card and I love the card. Messy, game worn. They're not that easy to find. So anytime I get my hands on one, sometimes you got to overpay, even if it wasn't the worst, even if it wasn't the best investment ever. Still love the card.
Okay. So maybe bad investment instead of bad flip on that one.
Sure.
Okay. Well, that kind of ties into my best and worst flip of 2023 because I got this Joe Burrow, Craig. I've referenced it a few times on the podcast. This Joe Burrow Select tie-dye. We're big fans of the tie-dye parallel. Numbered out of 25. It's a premier level rookie card. And it's a PSA 8. And I bought this, or actually I traded for it and graded it myself. And it came back an 8. The thing that makes this a worse flip is because I kind of took a chance at the Twin Oaks show up in Portland back when I lived in Oregon earlier this year. And I took a chance. I traded a Larry Bird patch numbered out of 5. I traded a Magic Johnson flawless auto numbered out of 5. So my two favorite guys, I traded, and I got this Joe Burrow Select tie-dye rookie at a 25. So that, I think, makes it feel worse. I haven't sold it yet, obviously. I'm still holding it. But, holding it in my hand. I don't know how long I'll actually hold it in
Literally
my
holding it.
collection, right? But I'm into it for $420. And speaking of the holidays, 420. No, so I'm into it for that. And I don't think it's that bad because I did just get offered $375 on eBay. So I don't think it's like I'm going to lose a lot of money on it. But, I thought it was probably like a $650 card, I think, when I got it, probably like 8 months ago. So it has decreased quite a bit in value. But I think it feels worse because I traded away a really cool Larry Bird patch, a really cool Magic Johnson flawless auto to get my hands on it. And I do really like Joe Burrow as a guy, his persona, Joe Cool, quarterback, he's made it to the Super Bowl, of course, almost took down Mahomes last season. If it wasn't for that, 15-yard personal foul penalty, the guy pushed Mahomes out of bounds, set up the game-winning field goal, they would have been in the Super Bowl again. So I think the Bengals, I'm high on Joe Burrow. I think that's somebody who I'm going to buy in the offseason and, stock up on him. But I know that was a bit of an aside, but it feels like a bad flip because of who I gave away, I think.
I gotcha. So you wish you had the Larry Birds instead of the Burrows, but you still have it. You still have the card. I'm sure you'll find a way to dig yourself out of a hole.
Yeah. And the good thing is I'm not really in that big of a hole, so that's good. I can kind of, sell it if I want to or hold it for next season and see what happens. And it's not a big crisis because it's not too expensive of a card, in the $500 range. So the best flip was a fun one, and it was involving this Magic Johnson. Here, I'll zoom in so you can see it. If you're watching on the YouTube, you'll be able to see this. A Magic Johnson flawless patch auto with a big chunky piece of the patch. You can see it here. Numbered out of 10. It's the vertical, so it's the most valuable.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice.
Card.
It's gold, so it matches the yellowish gold on the Lakers jersey and the purple, and it has a big chunky piece of the letter in there. So it's a flawless vertical patch auto, numbered out of 10. And the cool thing about this, I traded for this at the Burbank show at one of the trade nights. And then I sent it off to Beckett while I was at the trade night or not while I was at the trade night, while I was still at the Burbank show in California. And I submitted it there. Very easy process to submit in person. Like you recently mentioned, Craig, the value of just being able to drop it off in person. You don't have to pack it up. You don't have to ship it out. Just makes it one step easier, and they take care of it. And then about a month and a half later, it came back a BGS 8 with a 10 auto, which I wasn't too happy about. But, with a rare card like this, a collector's item, I don't think it really affected the value very much. So I was into it after the trade I made in Burbank for $1,600, $150 to grade, because I got the auto grade, I got the regular grade. Plus, it's a little bit more of an expensive card. I think I got $3,000 worth of insurance on it. So I was into it for $1,750. I ended up selling it for $2,300, and I ended up profiting $550.
We like that.
Yeah, it was good. Nothing, nothing like astronomical winning the lottery, but I mean, 550, was still a real good profit margin, I guess around 30, 25, 30% in that range for a $550 profit on a $1,750 card. So I felt good about that. And I was debating PCing it, but when I got a $550 profit offer, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to part with this. I was talking to my dad last night on the phone about, PCing cards and if I'm going to bring my PC to a Culture Collision in Atlanta, because he's an entrepreneur. He's a business guy. He's always been in business for himself. And he's like, listen, don't get too attached to these cards to where no number can pry it out of your hands. There's always a certain number to sell it for. And so
valid.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a crazy offer, like that wasn't that crazy of an offer, but it was still, I wasn't that attached to the card to where I couldn't let it go for a $550 profit. So, and who knows what I wouldn't have gotten in my PC now if I didn't take that $2,300 offer. Like I probably wouldn't have been able to afford the card I just mentioned as my favorite PC pickup, the Bird and Exquisite Dual Auto, if I never sold that Magic Flawless Patch Auto for $2,300 and added $500 more cash to get to the $2,800 of my Bird Magic Dual Auto.
So there's levels to this.
It's interesting. It's interesting what moves you made in the past to set up those moves in the future.
There's levels to it. That's why I like keeping track of everything. This trade got me here, which got me there.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Next thing you know, Mbappe Prism Blue.
Yep. There you go. Now you got a PC. It usually the road continues until a PC purchase, and then sometimes it diverts into a different PC purchase that you continue to branch off into sometimes, using that PC purchase as leverage for maybe another PC item.
Yeah. Okay. Something we don't talk about a lot on here, and this is my next hobby award, is we don't rip a lot of product. And right. I'm definitely on record saying I just don't like modern day products at all. I think it's a lot of crap, a lot of fluff. Just straight up. Right. Why would I want to, I'm not a gambler, right? So a $300 box of Prism doesn't do it for me. A box of illusions, what are we even getting? So yeah,
it might be an illusion.
Yeah, right. So I had luck this year where I did buy a couple of packs of Merlin soccer from the hobby, like my local hobby shop, $10 a pack, and I pulled a card that I flipped for $450. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But as far as my most fun and enjoyable, and this is my next award, is my most fun box/pack opening. And it was actually very recent when I went to the Hofstra show a couple weeks ago. I was able to pick up a 2021-22 Topps Chrome Overtime Elite. So the ceiling in terms of what you can get, maybe not the greatest.
Yeah.
But I was with my parents. The hobby box cost me $30, so it was very low risk. And I got to share a box opening with my mother and my father. And nice. We're opening packs together. And even my dad's like, oh, wow, these cards are really cool. Because with Topps Chrome, the overtime, you're getting 2 autographs a box. You're getting plenty of color. Mm-hmm. And really only names you're looking for are the Thompson twins, Amen and Azar Thompson.
Yeah.
In the 18-pack hobby box, we pulled 2 different Ozar Thompson numbered rookie cards, and my
Mhm.
dad pulled his on-card numbered rookie autograph out of 99. So my dad was able to
Wow.
pull the best card from the box. It was $30. We had fun. We actually did really well pulling the same Thompson twin, all 3 of his rookie cards. So now I've got a cool card, a fun experience with both my parents and even my dad. Just hearing my dad say, "Oh, these cards are cool," that in itself made it fun for me.
Right.
Like, I feel bad. My parents got me some select blasters for my birthday, and I already knew going into it, there's nothing good that's gonna come out of these. And I already know my parents probably paid way too much for them. It's still fun and all, but to be able to rip a hobby box, pull a couple autographs, do well, it didn't break the bank. I shared that with my parents. The Overtime Topps Chrome Elite was definitely my most enjoyable product opening of this year.
Great. Yeah, I love that. And I love that you got to share that with your parents and for a low price.
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't have to be expensive. If you're going to rip something that's already going to probably be a bad investment, you might as well rip something cheap, and be able to share that experience and get the value from it with your connections with your family and friends rather than looking for the value of ripping the box in the cards and reselling them.
sure. And yeah, no matter how that box went, it would have been fun. And we happened to do well. That was icing on the cake.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Well, from a card opening to how about a card show, Craig? Our hobby
Yo,
award for 2023, card show of the year. And of course, the National was unbelievable, amazing. Our first one that we got to go to together, my first one for myself that I have ever been to in Chicago. Stayed there for 4 or 5 days. We had the Wolfpack trade night, which was amazing. All of our guys getting together and meeting up, and it was like a summer camp for cards. That blew me away. And so, of course, I mean, if you were putting it on paper, that would be the show of the year. It's probably the show of the year every year. But for me personally, I think in my card development, the Burbank card show early this year in February of 2023 was the most important show of the year for me because I had been to the San Francisco card show before, which was a big show, but it wasn't like a destination show where people come from all over the country and sleep over, get in hotels and, bring out the heavy hitters and you got the best card collectors in the country and everybody's there filming content. And, Burbank is, of course, in a different tier of card show. So when I went to that show in early of this year, I had my eyes open to going to trade nights. That was the first time I had been to a trade night after a show at a destination show where you're seeing all these cards flying in from across the world, across the country, and big time dealers and cards you wouldn't see anywhere else. And so I really felt like that put me into a territory where I'm okay negotiating 4-figure deals, big cards, at least for me, in the few $1,000 range. And, setting up as a dealer, that was also my first time setting up as a dealer at a major show and still the only time I've done it. But I learned so much from setting up as a dealer, giving people bulk deals, sometimes at 75%, 80% comps, making my profit margin, reinvesting, buying from people while I'm at the table, seeing what I can get for a certain card, making a $3,000 sale for a Tiger Woods autograph at the show, $1,000 profit. Actually, that was my biggest flip of 2023. Sure. So let's white that one out and re-put in a Tiger Woods BGS 9.5 jersey or a shirt autograph. I'll pull that up because that was actually $1,000 profit. So that one was really good. Also at Burbank, just like the one that I thought was my top flip, the Magic Flawless Patch Auto. But I think for my own development, just in so many different areas in the card hobby, the Burbank show was just instrumental and really took me into a realm where maybe I don't make certain deals at the National if I don't have that Burbank card show experience. of negotiating in those high pressure, high value situations, at least for me and where I'm comfortable negotiating, putting out cash, being at the trade night, buying and selling and seeing what fits and what works and what do I want to have for my personal collection. Based on those experiences, I think for my own personal development, the Burbank Card Show was the show of the year, even though with everything going on and the spectacular nature of it, the National was like the show of the year in that way.
Right. The National almost wins by default.
Right.
But hey, maybe this time next year, Culture Collision will be that answer. But for now, we'll give Burbank their flowers.
Right. And I'll try to find that. That's funny that I stumbled upon my biggest card flip in the midst of that story, but that just shows you the importance of that show, financially and then also experience-wise.
Right. Set you off to give you the confidence to maneuver at these bigger events, higher value deals, etc. Okay.
Exactly.
Speaking of National, my next award is the best card connection. Now, this could get an episode in itself. There it is. There's the tiger.
Here's the tiger, the $1,000 profit.
You miss it?
Yeah, I do. But I would still make the same. I mean, you got $1,000 profit sitting on the table. It's tough to deny that. But what a beautiful card, though.
Yeah, it is. Whoever bought that from you has good taste.
He does.
So best card connection is my best category. So I think of that for best card connection. I think of that as people and networking. I mean, countless examples going through my mind right now. Like the fact that I was in my LCS a few weeks ago and someone turns to me and is like, oh, you're New York City sports cards. You and I walking around the National together and someone saying, oh, I listened to your guys' podcast. The fact that we've created friendships like internationally via Instagram, this might have its own episode in the future. But my best favorite card connection has to be the Friday night of National when we were sitting, or Thursday night of National, when we were sitting on the floor of the lobby at whatever hotel it was. I'd take a dozen cards and I just have them spread out on the floor. I'm sitting right next to Cousin Oz. Shout out to the people's mailman, Cousin Oz. When Alex, who is London City Cards, comes on over to my, whatever you want to call it, my little slice of real estate.
Your carpet?
My carpet. It wasn't even carpet. It was just regular floor, dirty. Here I got my, cards just getting dirty on the floor. And Alex is a UK London-based card collector who, after talking for a while, I learned he's a family man. He is also a youth soccer coach like myself. So I'm sitting on the floor of this hotel room in Chicago with just people everywhere. And here comes Alex, London City Cards, and we just start chopping it up. That's my mate. He really liked one of my Jude Bellingham cards. I really liked one of his Messi cards. We didn't even look at comps. He's like, oh, I don't even need to look at comps. Let's just do the deal. Puts his hand out. We shake on it, and I end up with another Lionel Messi game used jersey card. And Alex, the connection. Alex is my guy. He's from London. He goes to a lot of shows. He's got a young daughter. He specializes in soccer, but he does other sports, so we have that in common. He's a soccer coach, and I've stayed in touch ever since. And I just think that's so cool when we talk about the connections you can make in this hobby. I am sitting on the floor on a Thursday night in Chicago, and over comes someone who, little do we know, who flew in over from England, and we have so much in common, which we were able to discover by me just sitting there next to Oz. We made a trade, and it's a permanent connection and hobby friendship that created from that moment at National.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. No wonder that gets the hobby award for sports card connection for 2023. But that's so funny that a moment in time can lead to a permanent connection. Like that moment that you guys shared was just a moment, but then now you got that connection and keep that momentum rolling into the future. And man, that's great.
So Card Connection, yeah, again, might have to be a future episode. Just the people we've met, the coincidences, like this person knows that person, I'm friends with them, and
Right.
it's like I feel like in this hobby, it's like 2 or 3 degrees of separation everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. No, true. So what do you guys when you currently talk or when you've recently talked since that deal that you did, what do you guys talk about? What do your conversations look like?
Well, we might have, I don't want to spoil that because we might have him on the podcast in a little bit. That's what I was
Oh,
talking to
okay.
you
How
about.
about a teaser? How about a teaser? How about a teaser?
Um, he he said, and I love like the international lingo and stuff. He said something on his Instagram story about people in this hobby are so thick. And I'm like, what do you mean by thick? LOL.
They
And
live a sedentary lifestyle.
no, and he said, like, they don't have a clue what they are saying. Dumb people. It's incredible. They can't
Right.
live in the real world.
Right. Like a thick head.
Yes.
Like right.
But I don't want to say too more because maybe we'll have our first international guest on the podcast soon.
Wow.
Spoiler.
Wow. Okay, that'll be great.
You're up next.
Can't wait for that. All right. Wow, that's a tough one to follow, bro, but I'll try my best. I'm gonna save top trade for my last.
Okay.
I wanted to it was kind of funny because we were going back and forth trying to figure out which categories we were going to talk about. And I kind of added this one at the last second. And thank you for, thinking that it was cool enough to talk about. Best sports card discovery of 2023 with a little light bulb emoji because the light bulb went off for me when I discovered this new element of my PC and of my purchasing that I all of a sudden wanted to dive into. And that is the nickname and inscription niche that I've gotten. We've talked about it a few times on the podcast here as I've been collecting these and picking them up. But because it's the end of the year, I just wanted to kind of display them all together. And so here, Craig, take a look at this. The biggest and best sports card discovery of 2023, the nicknames and inscription autos that I've been picking up. Look at all these that I got, and I got all of them this year. I got a bunch. This is actually my most recent that I might as well show off because you listeners and viewers of the podcast and mostly friends of ours too haven't seen these ones yet. But this is the Glove, Gary Payton, one of the best nicknames I think of all time for his smothering defense, just like a glove would smother your hand in the cold, cold weather, which, Craig, you're experiencing now, but you won't in a few days because you'll be down in Miami. Speaking of the hottest bat in the business, Big Papi, David Ortiz, the Red Sox legend. What a great nickname, too. I mean, that's one of the best nicknames out there, too. So, also what I like about this one, Craig, is first year notable nicknames. 2011. So that's pretty cool. No
I
sales
like that
on
one.
This. Try to find a
think
sale. Try to find a sale on this. You can't.
you can't.
Yeah.
It's interesting that some of the autographs, like, what do you prefer? The autographs with the nickname or the ones like the Gary Payton where it's just the nickname?
That's a great follow-up question. I would prefer the autograph and the nickname just because you get a double dose, I think. But it also is kind of cool when he just puts the glove on there, and that's only what I don't think. To me, it doesn't really matter either way. But I think I would prefer the autograph and the inscription just because you get more writing from the guy. I still think it's really cool. So just going through a few of these. Gronk, Rob Gronkowski, notable nicknames, national treasures. This is a white box 1 of 1 I got at the National.
I remember.
Yep, you were there. Joe Montana, Joe Cool. Showed that off on the podcast before.
Cool.
To match the other Joe, Broadway Joe, the winner of Super Bowl III, guaranteeing the Super Bowl. Unmatched moxie, unmatched confidence, and that's why they call him Broadway, the bright lights of New York City. So that's really cool. Johnny effing football, the freshman Heisman Trophy winner, Texas A&M, the Aggies, gig 'em is what they say down there. And
I took them.
Just incredible. Yeah, be careful with that because those Southern folks in the SEC, they take that very seriously. And then who do you think you are? I am Pete Weber, the ultimate bowling. This is like the slogan of bowling now, I guess, when you get a strike. And, he needed to win that major tournament, and he was juiced, to say the least, after bowling a final strike. So that was my best sports card discovery for the Hobby Award of 2023, because I just love the personal nature, the whimsical, childlike aspect of sports, and the romanticized part of sports, where it's like these figures are sometimes larger than life. And that's what the nickname, like Broadway Joe, makes me feel like. Like, this is a story of sports more so than just the autograph and all business. This is like the story, the Paul Bunyan element of sports, the magical nature of it. And, just so it adds that personal touch, the coolness, and then also increases the rarity and scarcity, because, of course, there are way fewer inscription or nickname autos out there of these guys than just the standard write your name autograph of these guys. So
Sure.
I was really happy to have that discovery this year for PC. And then, maybe we'll see when we set up at Culture Collision in about a month what the interest level is in these. If I have them in the showcase, or a few of them in the showcase, like the Gronk I'll be trying to sell, and see, what people want to pay for them, or if they also think they're as cool as I do, and show some interest, and maybe stop, see them in the showcase, notice that that's different than a bunch of the other showcases because of the nicknames and the uniqueness, and then at least strike up a conversation. Then maybe they find something else in the showcase that they might like too. So we'll see how that plays out. But for now, just really happy to make that discovery for this year.
Yeah, and that's a cool lane that you decided to dive into, and I haven't seen anyone else take that approach. So keep riding that wave.
Thanks, bro. There's a few out there on Instagram, but it's a small community. So
I sent you the truth.
I know the Paul Pierce. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I like the notable nickname set in particular. Some brands have done the have done that too, but I think, of course, with National Treasures, and that's a tough brand to replicate with the notable nickname set. So I got that's kind of the main one that I go for, but I'm open to other brands too. The nickname's cool.
I'll keep my eyes open when I'm at the shop in Miami.
Thanks, bro.
All right. My last award is the craziest card story. Now, I am taking this award as I see a card and I think there's no way that card's sitting in front of me right now. Like, what hobby higher power put this card in front of my face?
Right.
Like, how does this exist right here in this moment? And I got three.
Okay.
I couldn't pick one. The first one was at a Bleecker trade night. And I am a huge Knicks fan, obviously, but I grew up as a Mets fan. My favorite players, like the players that really represent my childhood as a Mets fan, were David Wright and Mike Piazza.
Yep.
My favorite product ever, one of my favorite products ever, very random, but I just always remember having good luck opening this product, was 2005 Fleer Patchworks baseball.
Yep.
And somehow, some way, a Bleecker trade night earlier in the year, somebody was unloading their Mets cards. And for $40, I picked up this 2005 Fleer Patchworks dual game used patch of David Wright, chunky from the Mets logo with Mike Piazza on the back, both multiple colors, numbered out of 15. And when I saw the card, my first reaction was like, there's no way that this card is sitting in front of me right now, because if I had to draw up my perfect New York Mets card, this might be it. Game worn, chunky patches, my favorite product, David Wright, Mike Piazza. And now it's in my collection.
Yeah, that's a great, wow, what a great pickup. And that logo piece from David Wright is incredible. And then the other side, yeah, you got that 3-color of Mike Piazza. Those are definitely the two most iconic and well-known Mets of that era of us growing up as kids.
Correct. Right.
And then taken by, a few of the great Mets pitchers from there and stuff like that, making a deep playoff run. But man, to find your card that you would have drawn up in your dreams and have it
Yeah.
be under $50.
Easy. That was early. That was way. I think that was like January, February, maybe. My other ain't no way this card is sitting in front of me right now. Award of the year, three-way tie.
That's the official name? Ain't no way this card is sitting in front of me. Award of 2023.
Yes. Tied for first. We talked about this one recently, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but I already had the 06-07 Upper Deck Exquisite Michael Jordan quad game worn jersey, numbered 4 out of 25. And very recently, at the last show, the same exact card, but LeBron, also serial numbered 4 out of 25. Same set, 2 greatest players of all time, same exact serial number. I saw the LeBron. I said, ain't no way this card is sitting in front of me right now, numbered 4 to 25. As you also show your 2, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, same set, 06-07 Exquisite quad game worn jersey, and yours are numbered out of 25.
They're both numbered 9 out of 25.
Unbelievable.
Yes, sir. So that might be, if we were going to do a crosstown cardboard collaboration for the craziest card connection. That's a lot of alliteration, first of all, but it would be we both have 2 cards from the same set of 2 guys who are connected throughout history of the same exact serial number. That is insane. Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain are mine, numbered 9 out of 25. And then Michael Jordan and LeBron are yours, numbered 4 out of 25. That is eerie. That's eerie.
And that's the hobby higher powers at work.
Yeah.
And my third winner in the category of ain't no way this card is sitting in front of me right now. I picked this card up 2 years ago. It's probably my number 1 favorite Knicks card in my entire collection. It's the Walt Frazier, Bernard King, 06-07. There's a theme here, 06-07. That was a fun year of collecting for me.
Yeah.
Upper Deck SP game used, Walt Frazier, Bernard King, dual autograph, dual game worn chunky patch out of 25.
Yep.
Out of 25, right? So obviously not a card you see a lot. Explain to me how just last week I was able to pick up another copy of that card. How?
Oh my gosh.
So,
Merry Knicksmas to you.
So the original one, nicer patch on the Walt Frazier, and on the newer one, nicer patch on the Bernard King, but still maybe the first dual, or not dual, but like same replica. What am I trying to say here?
Yeah, same card. You got a duplicate of the same card.
There you go. That's the word. I saw it on eBay. It was a save search, and I looked. Usually save search. I have like a game use patch save search, and it's mostly stuff I don't want. But I opened up my email, and that card was just sitting there. So I was able to make a deal with. It was DA Card World, very popular supplier of wax. Able to pull a deal offline, and I saw it, and I'm like, ain't no way I have 8% of the population. So
yeah, good.
Pretty
good
wild
math.
that I have 2 copies of this card.
2 out of 25. Wow. That's really cool. Because I know that's one of your favorite cards, like you said. I mean, you took a picture of it in front of Madison Square Garden, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put it on your Instagram.
Yes. And story behind this one is we were able to close a deal for $285 on this one, which the type of Knicks rare card you find, you can put whatever really number you want on it. And I remember I was saying you, because they ship from New York and I live in New York, it was extra $25 in cash. And I wasn't about to do the deal because of the extra $25.
Well, because that wasn't specified to you before closing the deal. That was the main part of it.
So I actually, at one point, I said, you know what? No, thanks. I won't take it anymore. And then I thought about it, and I said, I'm not about to lose. If I was going to pay $285 for this card, I'm not going to lose this over an extra $25, because if I ever want to trade this, maybe for another really nice Knicks card to a Knicks collector, I've got a little trade bait, because I don't really trade my Knicks stuff, but I would trade this copy for another Knicks card that comes across my radar in the future.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And it's a PSA 6.5.
Yeah, I'm
That's
cracking that. I'm cracking that.
oh, you're cracking it out.
Yeah,
Okay. Is there
100%.
anything major wrong with it? I wanted to ask you, like, to get a 6.5, you probably see
I don't
better
know. I
once you
didn't
crack it.
even. I don't even care. The
Yeah.
card's meant to be in a one touch.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Okay.
those are my awards.
Cool. Cool. That's great. And I'm going to go through this is why I saved this one for last. So if you listened this far, thank you for sticking with us, going through the Hobby Awards 2023, and hopefully thinking about your own personal collecting hobby awards or personal flipping hobby awards that you reflect back on, because we're always go, go, go these days, So it's good to take a second to live in the moment, reflect on the past, be present. All that stuff is great. And, if you've followed us throughout 2023 and haven't subscribed, liked, rated, reviewed, or followed us on any podcast platform or YouTube, please do so, because we just want to share our hobby journey and connect with as many people as possible. And we're not making any money off this, but, the money that we make, the value that we get is from those card connections, like Craig mentioned with his buddy across the pond. So, to top off the Hobby Awards 2023, I wanted to talk about my top trade of 2023, also happening at the National. And the trade was this Trevor Lawrence XRC rookie auto numbered out of 99, along with this Larry Bird impeccable 1/1 jersey auto, PSA 9 with a 10 auto. I picked this one up at Burbank and then involved it in this trade I'm talking about now at the National. And this Larry Bird exquisite auto patches, big piece of the jersey, nice autograph, and a little green and white two-color jersey. That one's numbered out of 100. So those three cards are what I traded. I added on $600. And what I got, the flawless 1/1 Larry Bird patch auto, and my highest value card in my collection for sure, and definitely a milestone for me as a Larry Bird collector to get my favorite brand, Flawless, along with Exquisite, but my favorite modern brand of Flawless, patch, auto, and 1/1 all together in one card. This was something that I went to the National to get, and my top trade allowed me to get it. So I went through that trade in our National recap. If you want to really, see the numbers and exactly what worked out to get it. But so I was really proud of that as my top trade of this year, because of the card I was able to get, and because of, I'll go through real quick the trade that I made to get it. So I had about $1,000 profit on the Lawrence rookie auto that I included in the trade, and about $1,000 loss on the impeccable 1/1 Bird that I included in the trade. So I was also proud of my ability to take a loss while balancing it out with a profit, and including both of those cards to get a card that'll be an all-time collection piece for me as a Larry Bird collector. A 1/1 flawless patch auto, and having the trade maturity, I would say, to take $1,000 loss on the other card and say that was okay, because I'm getting an all-time great card that I don't plan to move. Of course, it also helped out that it was offset by $1,000 profit with the Lawrence in the trade. But to have the trade maturity to say, you know what, I'm taking $1,000 loss, but it's worth it in the end. It's balanced out by the other card. And now I'm taking home a card that is probably right at the top of the mountain for my own collection. So that was a top trade for me of 2023 because of the card I got, and because of the trade maturity and kind of intangible factors that I showed myself in order to pick that up. And like you said, all the work that went into getting to this point. And this is kind of a hobby award in itself. This is like a trophy for me coming out of the year to have on display in my own collection.
Add that to the hobby glossary. trade maturity. You also said
Right.
something about Offset, so shout out to the Migos, RIP Takeoff.
Wow.
Nice. That was good. Hobby Awards. Our own spin on the Hobby Awards.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
in your recap review, but we told stories. I think that's the essence of our podcast is hopefully not just storytelling, but education and learning along the way. I know we learned lessons along the way. It's been a fun year of collecting.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I think
I'll
we
see you next year.
yeah, I think the cool thing, yeah, like you said, the hobby year in review almost for us, but the highlights because of the hobby awards for this year. So that was cool. It definitely made me reflect, and I enjoyed hearing what you thought was the coolest aspects of your own collecting and your own flipping and dealing. Because, I've followed your journey for this whole year too. And to hear what you thought was your own coolest and most fun and most meaningful aspects of your collecting was cool as the year comes to an end here.
And I don't know about you, but in reflecting on the year, my collecting style, who I look to get, has become like so crystal clear for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Obviously, New York Knicks, soccer, but key players: Mbappe, Hollins, Jude Bellingham, U.S. national players, sprinkled in with a little bit of basketball. Right, we saw a little bit of LeBron, some Giannis, some Curry here and there. Yeah, so it's when you know what you're looking for, collecting becomes easy and fun and very rewarding.
Yeah, and definitely our podcast talking about it every week, I think, has been somewhat of a therapeutic session for us really as an outlet, but also for our collecting to talk about it, with each other who we both respect and value the other guy's opinion. And then, that helps us to dial in what's really important to us with our collecting. So like with me, of course, you got the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Knicks, and now the nickname and inscription autos added to that list. So I think that's really cool. And then also, if you want to see a Knicksmas tree and my Bird and Magic PC Christmas tree, because that's a hobby tradition. You form the cards in a Christmas tree shape, take a picture, put it on Instagram. By the time this episode comes out, I'll have both of those photos, my Knicks tree and my Bird and Magic tree, posted on Instagram if you guys want to check that out, and share some photos of your own trees with us, because that's going to be something that's important to you as far as where you come from, your style, and the players and cards that you like to collect. So that was definitely a lot of fun.
Thanks to everyone who listened for the entire past year. We're big card nerds. I assume if you're listening to this, you're also card nerds. I think it's also important that we shout out Nerds, the brand themselves. These Nerds gummy clusters, by the way. Wow. That's
and
not a sponsor. Not yet.
No, not sponsored. And if you haven't listened to our other Crosstown Cardboard episodes, we have a cluster of them if you'd like to check those out. So just to tie everything together. But seriously, thanks to anyone and everyone who's listened to one or many episodes. Happy holidays, happy new year, and we'll see you with a breakdown of Craig's finances with cards and his math teacher expertise of his margins and everything going through 2023 in our first episode of the new year as Craig tries to catch a final nerd. Let's see if he can do it. Got it. All right, bro. What a way to cap off the year.
Peace.